Hello there, this is my third video, me talking about life experiences. I guess you could call it spiritual belief system and everything along those lines. Today's video, I wanted to talk to you about a mental condition called body dysmorphia, and how I think that is actually associated with a form of self-hate and a form of self-disrespect, and how my journey with that went. So yeah, I had it. I got it when I was about 14 years old. I did something in my life. Sorry, the fly. I did something in my life that, at the time, I didn't really understand what I was doing. And then when I realised what I was doing, I got because you can do things through naivety without the understanding of what you're doing and do something incredibly wrong. But then when you get the perspective, the visceral perspective of understanding what you're doing, you then realise what you've done and you feel terrible. I'm sure many people have had things like that happen to them, and that's what happened to me at 14, and it completely crippled me. And at the time, I was completely confused. I'd never been depressed. I never had really been a continuous sad person. I was quite a bubbly child. And then I just kind of collapsed and fell in school. I was in high school. I literally just started year 9, which is the beginning of high school. And yeah, becoming an incredibly depressed, sad person in high school, it ain't good for you. Kids swarm on that, and I really got bullied for many years. And I remember getting to a point where I was thinking, why am I getting bullied? Like, why is this happening? What is going on in my life? Why is this happening to me? So one day I remember seeing myself in the mirror, and without realising that I was going to associate what happened to me when I understood and I did something wrong. I never thought I would associate that to become self-hate. So I remember coming home from school one day, and there was this friend that I said, why is everyone hating me? What is it? Why is everyone hating me? And it was because I was pouring energy of hate. I didn't like myself at that moment. I really didn't like myself. I thought I was a bad person and all these things. So you could imagine that energy in school, where you're really quiet now and used to be bubbly and now you're really quiet, people swarm on that. So I remember walking home from school and I said to this kid, like, why are people not liking me? And he goes, oh, it's your face. And I was like, what? And he was like, oh, people don't like your face. And obviously that wasn't really what it was, and he was just being a kid. And I remember running home and I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, that's what it is, people want to hurt me because of my face. And then bang, that was it. I lost it for so long, and the body dysmorphia, I got crippled by it. I used to look at myself in the mirror about 100, sometimes to like 150 times a day. I would smash mirrors. Kids would find me, I would go, can I go to the toilet? And I would run to the toilet, look at myself in the mirror and cry and try and sort it out, and kids would come in like, what are you doing? And I'd be like, oh, and then it got so bad and I got so depressed that I covered my face like this. When, weirdly, what I actually hated was my eyes, because that's the soul. I didn't like what was inside. I didn't like what I had become. Well, I hadn't become it, but I realised that I did something wrong and I didn't like myself, right? So it was, yeah, and I looked at, it was actually eyes, but all I had was that. I couldn't do that, so all I had was this. And kids would like grab my arm, and think about it, I was like this for a year and a half, like this around school. And I think about halfway through year 10 and 11, it got serious, and kids started to see that this is pretty serious, and like, we shouldn't really bully this guy as much anymore, like, he's really not okay. And some of them actually started to get quite a lot of empathy, because for me, inside myself, it didn't turn into me not liking myself anymore. It turned into, why is my life being this? And I feel sorry for myself. Now, feeling sorry for yourself on an excessive basis can be quite psychologically draining and energy draining as it is to people. So I didn't get all my friends back, and I didn't get a lot of people. I didn't get everybody stopped bullying me and things along those lines. But I did get people feeling like shit, like this is bad on this guy. Outside of school, I started getting therapy, which I don't really think helped me at the time, because I think the only way therapy can help anybody is when they're ready to have therapy. I don't think therapy works unless you're committed to wanting to have the perspective of how to change and get better. And when you're very young and you're depressed and you're confused and you're going through teenagehood, it's a very difficult place to be, to try and to grow as a human and on that emotional sense. For me, it was incredibly difficult. So yeah, I mean, body dysmorphia is a hard one. I guess if I could like put it into a package, so like someone's watching this who doesn't have it, or any mental illness, if they could just understand what it feels like for people, well, what it felt for me, and maybe others relate, is it feels like the world absolutely hates you. Either the universe, people, God, whatever the case may be, people hate you because of what you look like. And it gets so bad that you think people want to hurt you, and even extremes is want to kill you because of how much you look terrible to them. And that's a really hard place to be. I don't really have any of that anymore. In fact, I actually kind of like what I look like. I think I look quite goofy, but in a sweet way. Yeah, I actually kind of enjoy what I look like now, which is a really nice place to be, and which is 180 of where I was. And it goes back to kind of where this video series is going, which is about self-love. And I suffered with so many years of not loving myself. And I love myself. And it's a very difficult place to go, to be, to get to, especially if you really hate yourself. So yeah, I guess the last thing to say is like love. What loving yourself means is understanding that if you need to care for yourself, you need to understand yourself, you need to understand that you are a vessel and this is your temple, and if you're psychologically, consciously hating yourself, it will biologically make you either weaker or whatever the case may be. It's really important to know that you can grow. You can grow. We are growing, and it's up to us consciously of how to grow and become better, and understand how to become better, because naivety is bliss, but when you get perspective on the things that you are potentially doing wrong, and now you understand you're doing wrong, you will grow and grow and grow, and perspective is here, and non-perspective is here. So yeah, thank you to my loved ones, my friends, family. Thank you for everybody who's watching this. Body dysmorphia, no joke. Love you all. Bye. See ya.